Before I get started with this video, I want to clarify a couple of things. This video is going to be about loot boxes, with a few exceptions. First and foremost, this video is being recorded on Sunday, February 18th, 2018, and will be scheduled to be released Tuesday, February 20th, 2018, which is when you'll be watching this video right now. I'm bringing this up because during the weekend, on the 17th, Sid Alpha released a video talking about loot boxes. He had a discussion about it. This video will also be about loot boxes and my views and opinions on it. In full disclosure, I have not seen Sid Alpha's video, and this video was recorded and released after his. I don't know what he said or what he discussed, and I want to make that very clear, because if there's a chance that some of my points of view or feelings about loot boxes should somehow mesh with his, it's pure coincidence. I just wanted to be honest with you guys. I didn't want you guys thinking that I was kind of copying off of him or he was copying off of me or vice versa. We both have our views and opinions on loot boxes, which travel in two different directions at times. And he has his opinion, which he has given, and in this video I will give my point of view, untainted and without any third-party opinions being accepted or looked at. With that said, let's begin. Loot boxes. I love them. Yes, you heard me. I'm totally into loot boxes. But at the same time, there are loot boxes that I just don't like. And let's face it, who the fuck likes microtransactions? Let me explain. There has been quite a debate about loot boxes. Some saying that we should get rid of them, some saying that they promote gambling, some saying that they do this and they do that, and wait, won't someone think of the children? Children might be playing this game and stuff. Here is my views and opinions on all of that, and I want to talk also about why cosmetic loot boxes are good, pay-to-win loot boxes are full of shit, and fuck off to microtransactions. That's probably short and skinny of it, but I like to go into detail, you know? So, let us start with the cosmetic loot boxes. This is something that I talked about before in a previous video a ways back, but that was kind of primitive and amateur. Not a lot of professional quality went into that, so I'm going to be a little bit more professional with this whole concept here. Cosmetic loot boxes, to me, are the best and highly recommended form of loot boxes that all games should adhere to. And yes, that includes Star Wars Battlefront 2 by EA. God damn, they fucked that game up. Anyway, cosmetic loot boxes are good, but a lot of people are like, no, you gotta get rid of them, they're terrible, because you can use real money to buy them, and this is a form of gambling because of the randomness and stuff. First and foremost, when it comes to cosmetic loot boxes, they're not considered, I don't consider them gambling. The ESRB has also considered cosmetic loot boxes not to be gambling. You see, when I look at this stuff, and I look at how people are trying to pass legislation on regulating loot boxes, regulating this and regulating that about loot boxes, they're kind of lumping it all into one thing. You know? Instead of saying, these loot boxes are fine, these loot boxes are okay, it's mainly just, all loot boxes are bad, we should be done with them, it's a shameless cash grab, it's this, it's that, it doesn't include everything when everything should be included. First off, breathe, calm down, alright? That's a really half-assed point of view that you're coming from here. First and foremost, in cosmetic loot boxes, all the skins, all the emblems, all the items and stuff that you could possibly find in loot boxes is already in the game. Okay? You do not have to put money down to get a loot box. You can grind for it. Just play the game, grind, win a couple of levels, get XP, and if you reach another level, boom, you get a loot box. That is a given no matter what with cosmetic loot boxes. That's a good system. If there's an arcade mode in the said system, that's even better. You have a chance of either gaining a whole ton of XP, or, better yet, you just have a chance of getting a certain number of loot boxes within a specific period of time, and then a cooldown begins. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Having loot boxes that give you the option of buying the loot boxes with real life currency is a good thing, because you don't really have to do it. And on the issue of cosmetics, there has to be some kind of a gain for these boxes to be bad. All you're doing is changing the skin. You know, you're not really gaining anything else. There are no power-ups. There's no benefits from this. You're just gaining stuff that's already in the game at random. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's exciting. And of course, before we go any further, I am talking about the game Overwatch. I love that game, and I love its loot boxes. It's exactly how loot boxes should be. Okay? You may not like the fact that you can buy loot boxes with real-life money, but like I said, it's optional. It's not a requirement. I could see it if someone said you have no choice but to buy loot boxes. If you want a loot box, you have to buy one. That's the only way you're going to get one. You're not going to get it from leveling up. You're not going to get it from playing in the arcade. You're not going to get it from any type of grinding. You have no choice but to take your credit card out and go ahead and purchase it. If that was the case in Overwatch, or in cosmetic loot boxes in general, I would see your point, and I would be pissed, and rightfully so. Okay? But that's not the case. Anything that has an option is a good thing. It's a definite good thing. Cosmetic loot boxes always have the option. You don't have to really buy them. And most of the time, if you do buy them, you're mainly buying them in bulk. I mean, if you actually look at the Overwatch loot box system and look at how you can buy boxes, you can buy one, you can buy a small number, or you can buy a large quantity at any specific price. So that's only if you want to buy them in bulk. Oh, I want, let's say, 40 loot boxes, and I really don't feel like grinding for several hours to get them, so I do have some cash. I got some disposable income, so I'll put it down. There's my 40 loot boxes. I'll open them when I'm good and ready. Or you know what? Maybe you should just go ahead and grind anyway, and go ahead and just enjoy your loot boxes. Get them and store them all up, save them for a rainy day, and then just spend a whole day popping them whenever you wish. There are lots of streamers and lots of gamers who do acquire loot boxes over time, and they've never really had to spend any money on them. I, myself, being one of them. Okay? Each time you level up in Overwatch, you get a loot box. And if you look at it, I've acquired quite a lot of loot boxes. So many of them. It's ridiculous. As it currently stands, my rank in Overwatch is Bronze Single Star 90. Okay? That's 190 levels that I've basically climbed in Overwatch. That's 190 loot boxes. And that's not counting the ones that I got from the arcade, nor the ones that I got during the holiday event last year, where I was actually given loot boxes. It doesn't also count the one during the anniversary event that I also got, which they gave me loot boxes for that too. Or when the Year of the Dog in Overwatch, when that event started, the Lunar Year started, where I got a free loot box. That's not counting those. That's 190 loot boxes that I have acquired, that I have held on to, that I have opened, and that I have gotten content from. And I didn't pay a single solitary penny. The same thing can be done with anyone else that plays this game. Hell, my baby sister could play this game. She could acquire a loot box, and she doesn't have to break out any type of credit card or money of any kind. She doesn't have to be like, can I go and use your credit card? Or should I use my credit card? Or should I even have a credit card so I can buy loot box? No, that doesn't work. That's not a thing that happens, okay? The only real thing that I would probably take an issue with loot boxes in general, whether they be cosmetic or purchase only, is with children. Okay? That's the only major thing I can see with the loot box debacle affecting, specifically kids. Kids really should not be playing these type of games to begin with, alright? I mean, my god, we've had enough of that. When you just say, I can't begin to tell you the number of 13-year-olds that I have had to play with on Overwatch. You trying not to swear when the opposing team is kicking your butt and you got some kid in there? Oh god, it's a nightmare. It's a goddamn nightmare. And I can tell you right now, this player, he gets pretty rank with the language. Very, very, very particular. Those words are very colorful. Whew. But anyway, a cosmetic loot box system is not the enemy here, and you really should not be on this dead set vendetta of taking said loot boxes and just throwing them away. You gotta get rid of them. You gotta get rid of the loot boxes, man. It's the same as skyscraper. No, it's not. Cosmetic loot boxes are totally fine, and they're getting a bad rep because of the other type of loot boxes, which I'm going to perfectly segue into, which would be the pay-to-win loot boxes. Now, on the issue of pay-to-win loot boxes, the developers who think that that's a good idea to have those in their games can go fuck themselves 1,000 times over. Oh yes. Those loot boxes I do not approve of. Why? Because these type of loot boxes contain stuff that can give you an edge, an advantage in the game. It's like, okay, you want to beat this game, you want to have that little extra perk to take out everybody else, well, you can go ahead and just bust out that credit card or debit card or even gift card that your auntie or grandma gave you for Christmas, and you can go ahead and buy all the loot boxes you want. And then you can pop those loot boxes open, and then you get power-ups, which last X number of time, or maybe they're permanent. And of course you might get a skin or something fancy to go with your profile, and then you go ahead and you activate those little perks, and you go into the game, and you're kicking ass, and you're taking names, so everybody's like, oh my god, he's kicking ass. How is he doing this? He got all these power-ups, I don't have the power-ups. And that's something that's been happening in Battlefront 2. EA fucked up the entire loot box concept when they did that horse shit. Taking power-ups, putting them in chests, and the only way that you can get them, primarily, is through microtransactions. Okay? When it comes to digital content, when it comes to microtransactions, the good kind of microtransactions are the ones that are optional. If you have a game which levies so hard in the direction of, if you want to get to where everyone else is, if you want to have a better chance of beating this game, you're going to have to shell out some coin. That's a terrible concept. And EA was basically just straight up believing that you could do this. They could be like, oh, we're going to put all these power-ups and buffs and stuff in the loot crates, and the only way you get the loot crates is you gotta pay for them. Now, you can go ahead and grind for them if you want, but the XP system will be limited in Arcade. You'll have a limit as to how much XP you can earn in the game, okay? And if you want to play, like, leveling up and such, we can do that, but we're going to severely curb the amount of XP that you make as you're playing along. Now, understandably so, there's nothing wrong with curbing it, because a lot of games, especially with an RPG element, do that. As you begin to level up, they reach a certain amount of XP that you gotta hit. But EA did it in such a way that in order for you to get all those things that are in the game without the use of money, you'd have to spend years, decades, just playing that game. That's crazy. I mean, that's just fucking nuts. Alright? You don't do that. You just don't do that to people. In that concept, I can understand the loot crate system being used in such a fashion, and I can see that being the thing. I understand it that way. And to suggest that, oh my god, that's so stupid. I can't get off of that. I honestly just can't. What were they thinking? What the fuck was EA thinking doing this? It's because of shit like this. That's why we don't have nice things. Okay. I'm getting off the beat here. I gotta focus up. Okay. When you have these type of loot box systems that are simply pay to win, yeah, you can consider that something, because, that literally is taking advantage of people. That's taking advantage of users. Going back to cosmetic only, and again, we're going back to Overwatch, you have quite a number of chances to get loot boxes. Your level cap after it reaches level 10 is around 20,000 XP. You can get that in a handful of matches. The better you play, the better your skills. It's pure skill when you play Overwatch. There are no buffs or power-ups that you can get from loot crates. It's just you, your powers, your ultimates, and all the techniques that you're using that come with each one of those characters. There really isn't anything else you can do with that. It's just you and you alone. If you suck at the game, it's because you suck at the game. There are no temporary power-ups or buffs. There really is nothing that you need to buy. You're not under any obligation to do that. Whereas with EA, you want to be better at this game, you're gonna have to go ahead and pull out that credit card and buy some loot boxes and get some power-ups and hopefully maybe get a chance at some skins and XP and all this other shit. And this isn't something that's new, the loot box system. This has been going on for decades. The only reason why it's an issue now is because of what EA did. They just fucked the whole thing up. A good example is because there's a lot of people who are not looking at other games that use a similar system. For example, Hearthstone. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Blizzard games, just deal with it. There's Hearthstone. Card packs. A card pack is in and of itself a loot crate. It just doesn't sound like that. It's just, a card pack. But you can purchase card packs if you want to, or you can complete various quests, get gold, and then use the gold to buy the packs. So, like I said, again, that falls into the loot crate system, and again, completely optional. Now, some people would disagree with me on this, because they'd be like, well, those are cards, and we're talking about skins. No, they're the same thing, because they are still digital content, and they are still random, and they do have the option of being purchased, just like the loot crates in Overwatch. The same system, I believe, is used in, what's that other game? Heroes of the Storm. I believe that you can buy, loot crates, and the thing is that those loot crates do require either currency, or you can earn them through the game. So it's the same setup, too. If I'm wrong about this, I do apologize. I haven't played Heroes of the Storm in a very long time. Okay? Haven't played it in ages, trying to get back into it, so if I fucked up that narration, I do apologize for that. So, feel free to correct that whole thing in the comment section and in chat. The first person that does it, if I made a mistake, I'm pinning it so everybody can see it. And I thank you in advance. But, the system of the loot crates... Wow. Let's start over. The loot crate system is something that's been around for decades. I think it started around the time of Oregon Trail. I believe that's when it first started. And RPG games use them like crazy. You might think of them in this case as a treasure chest. Like if you, for example, The Bard's Tale for the NES. I played that. It's that used to be one of my favorite games. I gotta get back into that. If you beat some characters, you'd find a chest. What do you do with the chest? You probably open it, maybe not. Whatever's in there, totally random. Whatever you get is whatever you get. Well, Final Fantasy also does the exact same thing. You beat a boss, you get the reward for it. The system is pretty much the exact same thing. If you make it past a difficult part of a stage or something, or if you level up, there are unlocks. So there's different types and different designs and different ways of the loot crate system and the loot box system being utilized through the years. It's only until now, with EA's clusterfuck of which is Battlefront 2, that we're now taking issue to it. And finally, on the last point, microtransactions. They suck, okay? I do not feel that if you want to get ahead in the game, that you have to buy every little, solitary, single thing just to get where you need to go. A good example of this, Farmville 2 by Zigna. You thought I was going to talk about Battlefront, didn't you? No, Farmville 2. This is a game that me and my girlfriend play. We haven't been able to play it all that much because, she's battling cancer, and I've been focused more on being with her and helping her deal with this difficult time. But when we did play it, oh my god! You want to get property? You can, but you have to have an X amount of number of coins. You have to craft or generate some very, very difficult items to craft because it requires a whole bunch of animals that you can't even get, or you can get, but they won't yield the amount that you need to craft the items that you need. And in order for you to get those items, you're going to possibly have to pay for them or buy multiple instances of the items or objects that you need, or animals in this case, so you can get where you need to go and build up enough of what you need to craft items, and even then, you're never going to have enough. Oh, and as you are purchasing items, you're also taking away from the amount of coins that you need. They've made it so the only way to get what you want faster, you're going to have to come up with some coin. Those are definite pay-to-win systems. You want to get to the next level, you totally can. You want to do all these fun things that everybody else is doing, you absolutely positively can. But you're going to have to grind and play this game on a daily and regular basis if you want to get there. And I don't mind playing a game every now and then on a daily basis. I do it with Overwatch all the time. But when it comes to Farmville 2, it's such a hassle. It really genuinely is a hassle having to go and purchase all that crap. Don't get me wrong, the game is fun because I get to do all kinds of stuff and I get the chance to get animals and complete certain quests. I don't complete all of them, but you'll never be able to get what you need to get within game. They're basically saying, yes, this is a free game. Yes, there's all kinds of content in here that you can get. And yes, you do have the option of getting said content. But it's easier if you just buy it right out. You know? Buy the animals that you really need that will give you the yield of what you're trying to make. Buy the land directly with the credit card. You know what I mean? Huh? What's your debit card doing? Come on, pull it out. Pull it out there, baby. Make it happen. See, it's that type of shit that pisses me off. And that is just a terrible abuse of taking money away from a gamer. Alright? There are free games, and then there are freemium games, where everything is optional. And yes, there are paid games, where you have the option of buying additional content. But said content, like I said, is optional, and you can earn it in-game, as long as the balance is right. Overwatch has this balance when it comes to cosmetic loot boxes. EA Battlefront 2 does not have this balance. Even if they switched over to a cosmetic platform where you are not required to purchase any of the loot crates, where you can receive emblems simply through an in-game currency system, where you can unlock skins or acquire skins through the loot crate system, and again, not have to pay for a single thing. Even if they did that now, it already ruins a perfectly good game, because that's what they should have did from the jump. I know developers are all out about providing entertainment to us gamers and making a little coin on the site, and that's fine. But when you do what EA has done, that's a kick in the balls. That's not only just a kick in the balls, that's someone coming up and shitting in our cereal. I don't want shit in my cereal. I want a good game that's made well. If it has a loot crate system, make sure it's fair and balanced. And microtransactions are completely optional instead of required. EA didn't do any of this shit, and they still don't want to do that shit. They're trying really hard to fix something that they've already broken, and as a result of which, every other game that you can possibly think of that has loot crates now is about to be impacted by this, because now there's legislation coming in saying, hey, you know what, the ESRB should be regulating this. If the ESRB isn't going to regulate it, then we should contact our local congressman, and they should pass a bill and make that regulated. I thought the whole point here was not to have government up in our shit. It feels like we're taking a step backwards here with this legislation. And I've seen a lot of videos and articles about this. People praising the fact that politicians are seeing this loot box debacle and actually taking steps to combat it. But I thought the whole point was to not have government involved in this. I thought the whole point was for us to do our own thing and do it right. But now we want the government involved. And that's a good thing? Why exactly? I don't get it. We don't need a politician to regulate video games. They tried to do that once before. We don't need them regulating specific video game characteristics and designs and concepts. That's something that we rallied against. That's why we have the ESRB. So we don't have to worry about this type of shit. But apparently that's not enough now. Now we want the government to regulate loot boxes? Do you not realize how dangerous that is? Okay, so they're regulating loot boxes. What else is the government going to regulate? Are they going to regulate content, like sexual content in video games? Are they going to change the ESRB from the inside out, saying that M-rated games are no longer welcome on platforms? That is a thing that almost happened. Are they going to make it harder for people to purchase M-rated games? I mean, that's a very slippery slope that we're venturing towards here. Alright? I get that there's certain things you don't like, but that's just personal opinion, and that's personal choice of the gamer. Second, we start getting legislation in here, that's a slippery slope, and I see no good coming from this. I think we may have fucked up when we got government involved. Straight up, I really do. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, yeah, and the final thing I want to talk about, the gambling aspect. Let me tell you, though, something. The loot crate system has been around, like I said before earlier, for decades. Said system is not a form of gambling. It's just not, okay? And the reason why is because it does not conform to the actual mechanics of gambling. See, the thing about gambling is that you have to actually wager money against something of value. In other words, if you are wagering a certain amount of cash, real life cash or something, and you're waging against a certain item or playing against a certain thing, there has to be the expectation of a gain, getting more than what you put in. In other words, if you were to put money down on something and you bet and you win, well, then you get more money in return. That's what gambling is. With cosmetic loot boxes, such a concept doesn't exist. That's why the ESRB didn't consider cosmetic loot boxes a form of gambling, because they're not. All the skins that are in the cosmetic loot box system have no monetary value. That's why it's optional to buy them. You don't really have to buy them at all. You're not really required to buy them. There is no reason to do so. It's ridiculous. It just makes no point. It's pointless and just dumb. Now, as for the EA Battlefront system, when it comes to that type of stuff, gambling, yeah, I would see it, because there is something to gain. You get buffs. If you are able to get the right loot crate, and it gives you all these power-ups and stuff, and you might get a skin, well, okay, the skin doesn't really have a value, but those power-ups do, because they're giving you an edge. They're giving you something that will help you with the game. And you have to pay for that, and are being forced to pay for that. That I would consider gambling, because you're getting something of value. Something that can actually, help get you where you need to go. Cosmetic loot boxes don't have that. They just don't have it. Okay? And if that's the case when it comes to gambling, if you really want to look at some gambling services, look at Counter-Strike Go. Look at the lottery systems that they had. Okay? People legitimately put a monetary value on those skins, and they bet those skins against other skins. They wage money against those skins. That right there, when you put an actual value on digital content, which can be made separate from the game, yeah, that, my friends, is gambling. That's definitely gambling, because you can take those assets and you can sell them. You can trade them. You can exchange them for keys. Keys, by the way, which you have to pay for. So yeah, that is gambling right from there, because you are gambling for something of value. Cosmetic loot boxes? No. Pay-to-win loot boxes? Yes. Lottery systems like CSGO? Hell yeah. Cosmetic loot boxes in Overwatch? Card packs in Hearthstone? Hell, even, there's another game that I was thinking of just now, but it's escaped me. But either way, if it's purely cosmetic, there is nothing of value. The only thing that you get is, ooh, my character looks pretty. And that's about it. And I think it is very important that we understand that not all loot box systems are bad, not all microtransaction systems are full of shit. It's only when we can see very clearly that we're being taken advantage of, then we have something to say about it. But until then, this hatred of, this blind hatred of getting rid of all loot boxes everywhere, no, that's not going to solve anything. And while we're on the subject, it is the 18th as I recorded this still. It's like almost 1 o'clock. There's a free weekend of Overwatch. I strongly recommend that you guys go ahead, download it, install it, and play it, and enjoy it. Take the whole loot box thing out of the equation. Just play the game. We've got quick play, there's arcade, competitive mode, I think you can try and get into. It ends in about a week. And there's the game browser where there's custom games. It's really fun. go ahead and play the game. I urge you to give it a try. If it's not your cup of tea, fine. At least you gave it a shot. Take the idea of the loot boxes out of your mind and just focus on what the game actually is. It's fun, it's enjoyable, for me at least. Give it a shot. You might actually like it. And no, it will not make you, that does not mean that you're a gambler or an addict. And that's all I have to say about the concept of loot boxes. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you are on YouTube. And feel free to comment in chat if you're watching this on Twitch. You can also follow my channel on Twitch at twitch.tv/GodOfKnockers. You can also subscribe as well. Every little bit helps. I'd love to hear you guys' takes on this. Feel free to share this video with whomever you like. I was GodOfKnockers, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Laters.